All right, welcome back to Mastering MMA. I'm Coach Lee. I'm here with Zach. Today we're going to talk about triangling broader people, or bigger. So the thing about this is a lot of people have trouble triangling because of body sizes. So I'm going to show you all a little trick that I use for larger people, people that I can't just lock in a normal triangle with. So if Zach comes in here. Come in here. So I triangle him, right? If we are here and here, right, I can't get a good tight lock very easy, right? With him being a complete relaxed here, like I can get this over and I can get deep enough where I can start to triangle him, right? But when he's fighting, especially with him being bigger and stronger, it is extremely hard for me to get my triangle past my ankle where I can start to choke him, right? Because if I'm out here on the foot, I'm not going to get a good choke, and there's a decent chance that he's going to try to explode out of this and break my ankle or sprain it or whatever happens, all kinds of bad stuff. So I'm going to show you all what has to happen here. And the other thing is like I'm pretty good at triangles, so like even though I can hit this on him sometimes, if you're not there yet, you're going to be struggling. You're probably going to be like somewhere like this if you haven't figured out how to make these proper angles. So we're going to have to focus on the angle here. In general, I like to use my same side that's wrapped around his neck hand to change the angle. Whether I go under his armpit or preferably under his leg, that's what I want to go for. And then I'm bringing this all the way across. With him being big and broad, I've talked about how I can't lock this in here. I've got to get my foot to the point where he's almost escaping. So I need to be on this side of his shoulder. Let's get a little different angle on that. So when I'm coming through, right, in general, you see people a lot of times triangling here, right? But I can't get that with him. Even if I do get this up pretty high, right, it's still going to be real hard for me to lock this down. So what I got to do here is I got to change my angle a lot and get my foot in front of his shoulder here, right? Once I get there, now I can get a really deep lock, and he's going to go to sleep right here, right? There's a tap just from that, without me going through all my steps. So that's how you defeat the opponent whose back is larger than the bottom part of your leg, your shin bone. To be able to lock that triangle in nice and tight. Because I've got to swing my foot to where it clears the front of his shoulder. Reason being, if I can get you to turn around here. So my leg is going to come across here, right? So his arm's across, maybe not. If his arm's not across, I'm definitely not hitting this triangle. But if I'm coming through here to lock, I've got to get, say this is my foot, I've got to get my foot way out here. From there, right? So that's a really broad. If I can pull my foot in front of his shoulder, now I only have to get to here to lock, right? So I've shortened that distance so much, it allows me to lock in a real tight triangle. So basically, I'm almost letting him escape this. And I do this in general with his arm across, right? It's a lot easier to finish that choke this way because of this size difference. Not saying I can't hit it with his arm on the wrong side. I have before. But it's a lot harder. Like a whole lot. So if I get him in there, in general, and this is kind of how I usually make this work. Okay, let's come back in my triangle. So we're here, right? And so what I'll do here is I'll grab my shin, and I'll hang on to his arm. Right? I kind of push it down this way, and I start working this. And in general, he's trying to back out of this. Right? And so what ends up happening is I'll get here, and then I'll kind of fight this, and that's what happens, right? So I scoot away, and I've come just in front of his shoulder here, where I can lock this tight now. And then I can start digging everything in tight. The other thing I can do is I can fight until I'm close to ready to make that angle, and then I'll let go of the wrist, dive under the leg or the armpit. And that'll help out a whole lot too. But you've got to cut that angle to where his body's facing this way and mine's this way. Right? So we're almost hitting at like a 90-degree angle to be able to get that foot in front of his shoulder. So anyways, guys, I hope that helps out when you're trying to triangle larger opponents. I've got a whole nother video on triangle details. I'll give you all a card here. So go check that out too if you haven't. It will help out a whole lot. It's got a whole lot of detail in it. So grab a partner and drill that stuff. You got anything to add to this?
Nope. Not really. I mean, the only things with the shoulder in front of, or the heel in front of the shoulder, even though it feels like you're letting the larger person escape, they're not really, because the arm is in the way and so is their head.
Yeah, they've got a lot of body to move through that hole. So it's not like when you're trying to choke a littler person, they clear that shoulder and then they're gone. Right? They still have a whole lot of body to move there, which is why the choke is hard in the first place. That's an excellent point you got there. All right, so anyways, smash the like button for me, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, share it all over your social media. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time on Mastering MMA.